New photos of Anthony Joshua's wrecked car show how he came within inches of death after a crash in Nigeria. The heavyweight British boxing champion was travelling in a Lexus Jeep when it smashed into a stationary truck shortly after 11 a.m. 2 of the 5 people involved in the crash tragically lost their lives, but Joshua survived with just minor injuries and was taken to a local hospital. A friend of the star said that he's okay, but badly shaken up.
Just to give some context for any of our listeners and viewers who don't have the full picture, it happened on a major road near the Nigerian city of Lagos. That was at around midday local time yesterday, 11 a.m. UK time here. The 2 men who lost their lives were both Joshua's friends, but also parts of his close team, which makes it all the more tragic. So Sina Agami was his strength and conditioning coach, and Lateef Ayo Deli was his personal trainer. Absolutely awful news that Joshua's lost both of those 2. He emerged from the wreckage in one piece, which we're all grateful for here at Talk Sport. For context as well, the Nigerian officials say the black Lexus they were in collided with a stationary red truck. It was on this Lagos to Ibadan expressway. It's known as one of Nigeria's deadliest roads, with particularly heavy traffic, Jeff, at this time of year, as many Nigerians are heading back to their home country to spend some time with their loved ones over the festive period. We're told the car they were in actually lost control during an overtaking manoeuvre and then crashed into this stationary truck on the side of the road. Pictures circulating on social media after the crash show a crowd of onlookers then gathering around the wreckage. Joshua then emerging from that vehicle, and many people who have seen that on the back pages of many national newspapers today, and the front pages actually. Both Joshua and the driver survived, so 2 managed to emerge in one piece. 2 sadly lost their lives. They were immediately evacuated, Jeff, to a specialised medical facility in Lagos, which is one of the major cities in Nigeria.
Started as a quiet recovery has now become a moment of deep reflection for the boxing world. Anthony Joshua continues to heal after a serious accident that tragically took the lives of 2 friends who were traveling with him. As new updates about the crash come to light, the focus shifts from speculation to the reality of what happened and what comes next.
Just a horrible thing. Wishing the best for the families going forward. Anthony Joshua, according to people that have talked to him since this, is like physically okay. The injuries weren't like super severe. He's shaken up, which obviously makes sense. The fact that anyone is walking away from this accident alive is nothing shy of a miracle. The carnage is horrifying. Now, I want to make a little special mention here to the CNN article I read on this, because at the very end it had this statement: Joshua could not immediately be reached for a comment. No shit. You just blow in from Stupid Town? Obviously he's not going to immediately be scrambling to give you a statement for your piece. Why would you even bother, like, reaching out or trying to get a statement from him a mere, 2 hours or something after a fatal car accident that claimed the lives of two of his best friends? That's crazy to me. That's just like a lack.
TMZ reports that details are still coming together, but Anthony Joshua was traveling late in the morning through a busy area of Lagos with two close members of his team when their SUV was involved in a serious crash. Early information suggests a tire issue led to the vehicle striking a parked car. The accident tragically claimed the lives of two of Joshua's close friends and trainers. Matchroom Boxing has confirmed Joshua was injured, taken to hospital, and is currently in stable condition under observation.
Now, the information is coming in gradually, but as we know right now, Joshua and two very close friends of his, members of his team, were traveling in a Lexus SUV around 11 a.m. in a very congested part of a town, Lagos. And apparently there are reports that the car was traveling at a high rate of speed and had a flat tire and actually collided with a stationary vehicle on the side of the road. Unfortunately, there were two deceased people involved in this car accident, and two of them were Joshua's close friends and trainers by the names of Latif and Sina. Now, more information as we are getting it. Matchroom Boxing actually released a statement on it just minutes ago saying Anthony Joshua was involved in a road traffic accident in Lagos, Nigeria earlier today. With profound sadness, it has been confirmed that two close friends and members, Sina and Lats, have tragically passed away. Matchroom Boxing and 258 BXG can confirm that Joshua sustained injuries in the accident and was taken to a hospital for checks and treatment. He is in a stable condition and will remain there for observation.
Continuing that, condolences are pouring in from across the boxing world, with many expressing shock at how sudden the loss was. Joshua's most recent Instagram story shows a casual moment with one of the men who passed, highlighting how unexpected this tragedy was. The trip was meant to be a celebration and time with family in Nigeria, but it ended in heartbreak. Footage from the scene shows Joshua shaken, though updates indicate he is recovering and expected to be okay.
Throughout the boxing community, these are two guys. Even Most Valuable Promotions co-founder Nikisa Badarian said, "I was just with these guys last week. This is absolutely devastating." If you go to social media, Anthony Joshua's most recent story on Instagram is also a video of him playing table tennis with one of the deceased. This was completely unexpected. No one saw anything like this coming. They were actually going to Nigeria to celebrate the victory, spend some time for the holidays with Joshua's family and loved ones, and then something so tragic like this happens. Mojo, we were just talking about Anthony Joshua for the past few weeks. There's video of Joshua at the scene looking pretty banged up, but amazing to hear that Anthony Joshua is doing okay, and it sounds like he will be fine.
And according to The Sun, further emotional details have emerged about the two men who were with Anthony Joshua during the fatal crash in Nigeria. One was a longtime coach and close friend who joined the trip simply so Joshua wouldn't be alone. The pair were seated opposite AJ when their SUV hit a parked truck, killing them instantly. As tributes continued to pour in, Joshua remains in hospital in significant pain, but without fractures, under close medical watch as he continues to recover.
Anthony Joshua's close friend and longtime coach joined the heavyweight boxer out in Nigeria for a heartbreaking reason. It has now been revealed. 36-year-old Sinagami has been hailed as an angel by his heartbreaking uncle after he was killed in a car crash out in Nigeria alongside friend Latif Lats Aliadeli. Sina and Lats were sitting on the opposite side of the car to Joshua as the pair died instantly when their Lexus SUV smashed into a parked truck. Tributes have poured in from all corners of the boxing world for the beloved duo. Sina's uncle, Sharai Rami, says his nephew was far more than just a client to Joshua, as he revealed the touching reason why he joined the Olympian on the trip. Both Joshua and Latif shared Nigerian family roots and would often go back to the West African nation to be with their loved ones. But Sina, the owner of a major gym group in the UK, came along as he didn't want AJ to ever be alone during their planned week-long trip. Shariah told The Times they were friends, Anthony Joshua and Sina. They worked together, but they began as friends. Even on this trip, he didn't want him to be alone, so he went with him. Joshua is continuing to recover from the fatal crash out in Nigeria, as he revealed on Tuesday, "I feel pain all over my body." Sources close to the 36-year-old British fighter told The Sun that AJ had searing pain in his knees and cried out in agony as he was rescued from the wreckage of the Lexus 4x4 on Monday. Despite his injuries, tests have revealed Joshua suffered no fractures. The star will remain in hospital, however, over the new year, while medics and his mum keep an eye on him and carry out any further.
Then voices of condolences poured in even from outside the MMA world. Charles White Jr., aka Penguins, weighed in on the tragedy, calling the accident horrible and emphasizing just how miraculous it is that anyone survived. He noted that while Anthony Joshua's injuries weren't severe, he's understandably shaken after losing two close friends in such a sudden crash. White also criticized media coverage that rushed to request statements from Joshua mere hours after the fatal accident, calling it a shocking lack of humanity in the face of such a personal and devastating moment.
Just a horrible thing. Wishing the best for the families going forward. Anthony Joshua, according to people that have talked to him since this, is like physically okay. The injuries weren't like super severe. He's shaken up, which obviously makes sense. The fact that anyone is walking away from this accident alive is nothing shy of a miracle. The carnage is horrifying. Now, I want to make a little special mention here to the CNN article I read on this, because at the very end it had this statement: Joshua could not immediately be reached for a comment. No shit. You just blow in from Stupid Town? Obviously he's not going to immediately be scrambling to give you a statement for your piece. Why would you even bother, like, reaching out or trying to get a statement from him a mere, what, hour, 2 hours or something after a fatal car accident that claimed the lives of two of his best friends? That's crazy to me. That's just like a lack.
He goes on to reflect on how sudden and fragile life can be. He points out that just days after one of the biggest wins of his career, Anthony Joshua faced a shocking tragedy that changed everything in an instant. White emphasizes the importance of cherishing every moment, noting how quickly things can shift from joy to heartbreak. He closes by sending his condolences to the families of Latz and Sana and wishing Joshua and the other survivor a full recovery, highlighting the terrifying reminder this accident serves about how unpredictable life can be.
Lack of humanity. Like, quick, get Joshua on the horn ASAP. We need to hear from him about what he's feeling right now so I can write about it and make money off it real quickly in my piece. What do you mean he doesn't want to talk to us? That doesn't make any sense. Fine, alright, I'll just go ahead and say he couldn't be reached for a comment. How selfish. I understand it's just like standard journalism, but that kind of thing always just rubs me the wrong way in the event of a tragedy where they try and like reach out to whoever survived it or something as quickly as they can so they can be like the first outlet to have a statement from them. I don't know, that never really fully sits right with me. Anyway though, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't normally cover things like this, but when I was learning about this story, I don't know, man, it was just such a terrible thing, and it's a very scary reminder of just how quickly life can change, where things can be going amazing for you in life, right? Like Anthony Joshua just recently was talking about having the best weekend of his life with everything going on, and then just from out of nowhere, at the height of everything going really well, a heartbreaking tragedy can occur. It's just sad and scary. It's just fucking terrifying. You've just got to cherish life every second of it. Every second you spend in this corporeal realm is a gift, and you know, it's just, you never know what can happen. So I'm wishing the best to the families of Latz and Sana moving forward, and wishing a speedy recovery to Anthony Joshua and the other survivor from this tragedy. And I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit because when I was reading about it, man, it was...
Building on Charles White Jr.'s thoughts, Johnny Nelson added that this tragedy is a stark reminder of how fragile and precious life really is. He pointed out that compared to real loss, fights and rivalries are meaningless. Losing two young men, someone's children, brothers, and friends so suddenly brings perspective, he said, and makes you value the people closest to you even more. Events like this, Nelson stressed, hit hard emotionally and remind everyone just how quickly life can change.
Happened out in Nigeria, it's just sad. It just makes you realise how valuable life is, and how things can change in a heartbeat. So when we talk about fights and we talk about beefs and, you know, these things are just nothing when it comes to real life and losing your life. So it was a sad thing to hear, a sad thing to see. God knows how it'll affect those that saw it mentally, emotionally. But you've got to think about these two men who were somebody's child, someone's brother, And that's what you've got to think about, those people that have lost their lives. Now, that is the saddest thing you could ever even imagine, and you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. And now it's just somehow, it's a bit early to say, but it's somehow trying to recover from that and build from that. It's just to me, it makes you just appreciate those close to you. When my mum passed away, all my mates, I saw them just cling close to their mum, because it made them realise, thinking, oh my God, that could be me. And so when you see things like that, it just brings you down to earth.
He emphasized that grief hits everyone differently, even elite athletes like boxers. He pointed out that no matter how strong or disciplined someone is, the loss of close friends can break hearts and leave deep emotional scars. Nelson urged people to imagine the trauma of witnessing such a sudden tragedy firsthand, noting that it's the kind of event most only see in movies, a shocking, life-altering experience that leaves a lasting impact on everyone involved.
How would you kind of maybe advise or think somebody could deal with that type of grief?
You've got to have some kind of mental makeup to be a boxer, never mind anything else. So I think death affects us all. And some of us react differently. Some of us are stronger to deal with these things and can put things in compartments. Some of us aren't. Boxers are no different from any other human being, and our hearts can break. Your souls can be broken. Mentally, depends on. Can you imagine seeing that? Can you imagine being involved in that area? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine those being your friends? You can't even imagine. The trauma, the mental trauma how that would affect anybody, even people passing the other way. So again, this is something that you only see happen to somebody else, happens in a movie. And so again, it's just, listen.
And John Fury weighed in with a heartfelt and cautionary message, calling Anthony Joshua a lucky guy for surviving the crash. He extended condolences to the families of the two young men who lost their lives and stressed the fragility of life, especially on the roads. Fury used the tragedy as a warning, urging people to always drive sober, focused, and in a sound mind, particularly during busy times like the holidays. He emphasized that even when everything seems fine, tragedy can strike in an instant, a sobering reminder to cherish life and take care of those around you.
AJ, you've got a guardian angel, my friend. God has his arms wrapped around you then. Condolences to the deceased. So terrible, young people. It just goes to show you, it's a stark reminder, but people, you've got to start paying attention. When driving a vehicle, you've got to be on clock at all times in a sound mind. Please don't drink. When you think it's all right, it's not. Please don't drug. When you think you can, you can't. It's a stark reminder that life's most fragile when you're enjoying yourself at the most. When you're in a good time and you're not thinking and everything's dandy, that's when tragedy can strike. That's when you're most vulnerable. So may God give the deceased a good bed in heaven, two young men. But people have to wake up and start learning and start putting it out there to people that you can't drive a vehicle at speed. You can't drink and drive, you can't drug and drive. Not saying any of these boys have been doing that, not at all. I'm just putting it out there, because it's the time of year, it's Christmas, it's New Year. Now you've got to be careful the most, especially with people walking about, other people, when you get in the car, you must think of them, be in a sound mind and competent and pay due care and attention to everything you do. Again, condolences to the deceased's family. Two young men should never have happened. AJ, God had his arms wrapped around you tight, because looking at that crash, you're one lucky guy. And I'm pleased you're alive, son. I'm pleased you're alive. God bless you.
Whereas singer Iggy Azalea shared her sympathy for Anthony Joshua, describing the crash as a shocking reminder of how quickly life can change. She pointed out the deep personal loss he faced, losing close friends and trainers, and noted how fortunate he was to survive. Azalea also questioned whether such a traumatic event might lead Joshua to step back from the public eye or even reconsider his boxing career.
Anthony Joshua? Fucked up, so crazy. You never know, your life can be gone in 1 second. That's why
I feel so horrible for him, because those were his friends and trainers.
His childhood friends.
Time, right?
Yep. And he almost lost his life too. He got very lucky.
Yeah, he did. I wonder what will. I imagine you would need a lot of time out of the spotlight after that.
I don't know if he'll come back to boxing.
Moreover, Gareth A. Davies highlighted the emotional and psychological toll the crash could have on Anthony Joshua. While reports suggest he avoided serious physical injuries, Davies noted that losing two close friends and key members of his team, people who supported him both mentally and spiritually, will be a major challenge to recover from. He emphasized that Joshua will need time to heal not just physically, but emotionally as well, especially with potential fights on the horizon, including a rumored matchup in Riyadh against fighters like Rico Verhoeven.
Really even gone into verbalizing it yet, and the way the PTSD that he may feel from this, not to mention, obviously it doesn't look as though he's got any serious injuries at the moment, but who knows, that will transpire as the days go on, you know, whether he has any vascular injuries or not. It will be, you know, personal trainer and exercise rehab coach, these two guys, obviously, to him. But like you say, if he's taking them, his family are from Ogun State, Anthony's. If he's got these guys with him as part of his team, they're close aides, close friends. He's going to have lost two very close friends, two members of his team who are part of his mental, psychological and spiritual scaffolding. He will have to recover from this in all those ways, as well as physically, to go again, especially as it looked like he was going to be fighting late in February, potentially in Riyadh, against names such as Rico Verhoeven, who had been mentioned, the great Dutch kickboxer. That was one of the people mentioned. It may not have been him, but...
Continuing his analysis, Gareth A. Davies suggested that the accident could delay Anthony Joshua's return to the ring, though he also noted a possible motivating factor. Joshua might choose to fight in honor of his friends, keeping their memory alive through his career. Davies pointed out that only Joshua can decide how to move forward, and with his financial security, he isn't under pressure to fight for money. The coming days may reveal whether he takes a step back, sees this as a sign to retire, or channels the tragedy into his next chapter in boxing.
I think it will take longer for Anthony Joshua to get back in the ring now. The other side of it, Raheem, is that he may feel that he wants to go in there to do something for their families, to make their names resonant, to fight in memory of his friends and his aides, and only he will know right now. And we haven't had a statement from him yet, have we? So I expect that will come in the next few days. And you just wonder whether he doesn't need to fight anymore. He doesn't have to earn money anymore. He's incredibly wealthy, generationally wealthy. He may even decide that's it. This is a sign. That's it. But he may decide it's the opposite. There's so many. I mean, this is conjecture from me now, but it will be very interesting to see what he says and how he moves from here.
What's important to me?
Furthermore, Wade Plemons reflected on the tragedy, highlighting both the shock of the accident and the disturbing way some people responded on social media. He noted that while Anthony Joshua's name headlines the story, the focus should also be on the loss of his two close friends and the grief of their families. Plemons criticized those filming and sharing graphic footage from the scene, calling it a lack of respect and compassion, and described the situation as deeply upsetting, emphasizing the need for humility and care in moments like this.
Josh was one of the biggest stars in the sport of boxing, and the fact that he has just come off a massive moment for his career, and his notoriety and his spotlight is a big reason why he's back home in Nigeria in the first place. And this story obviously starts with his name, but it doesn't end there. As Anthony Joshua, luckily by the grace of God, and by the way, I should say, prayers to everybody involved and their families, to those that have passed. I pray for grace for their family in this heightened era of social media where everybody is more focused on the attention grabbing, on the headline, on the click. And as we'll see in a second, more people are focused on filming at the scene of a crime versus having some damn grace and some humility and trying to help people. But just an all-around awful situation. Joshua was, like I said, in Nigeria with two of his best friends. Again, I want to be sensitive here. I don't know the full names of these people, but and I certainly won't be showing any video of the deceased in today's video. I've seen that video going around on Twitter today, and again, makes me sick to my stomach to watch people parade around videos of the deceased laying deceased in the road and showing them no grace. That's just disgusting.
He went on to highlight the challenges at the scene, noting the lack of formal emergency response in Nigeria. He stressed that while he doesn't want to focus on systemic issues in the country, it was striking to see someone as high profile as Anthony Joshua being assisted by bystanders rather than trained responders. Clemens pointed out there were no ambulances, EMTs, or proper scene management, and he expressed frustration that the victims weren't afforded even basic respect and care after the crash.
Obviously, we know that you know, a place like Nigeria doesn't have necessarily the best infrastructure for emergency services like this, but that's a different conversation, maybe for a different day. I don't want to use this time and my coverage of this incident to talk about the impoverished kind of nation of Nigeria or the entire state of their emergency services as a whole. But what I do find frustrating, because that part, that's a systemic issue, that's something that has to be addressed from the top down, because Anthony Joshua is one of the richest people probably to come out of that country, worth 150 million pounds. And today you saw him being pushed out of a car by individuals. You saw him being pulled into another car, a police car, in the front seat. No ambulance, no emergency services, no EMTs, no blocking off the scene, no trying to protect the fatal and treat them with the respect they deserve, even in death.
So what are your thoughts on this tragic accident? Drop your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and keep Anthony Joshua in your prayers as he recovers.